Hello and welcome back to our channel. Today we will continue exploring financial data horizons, and we are going to apply our knowledge to create a dashboard which will display top 20 most valued ETF data. What are the ETFs? You can understand those as a compilation of stock packages. Like if you are buying ETF stock, it means that you are buying a bunch of regular stocks. For example, the most popular ETF, SPY, contains of Microsoft, Tesla, and other stocks. Let's try to review the contents of it. SPY ETF current content. You can see here what are the SPY ETF consists of. It's Apple, it's Microsoft, Nvidia, Amazon, Meta, Google, Berkshire Hathaway, Broadcom, Tesla, etc. And you can see like few of the details from the SPY. We are going to get some of this data later on during our exercise. So basically, to provide a summary, ETF is a bunch of stocks combined into one stock. We are going to write a script that will get historical price for the ETF for 1 year. It will calculate the moving average for 50 days and 200 days. Also, it will take 52-week maximum and minimum values for the given ETF. And of course, we are going to display them all in Streamlit. So let's start. This one will be task 16, ETF data dashboard. Let's have to git and start with import. Import Streamlit as st. Import yfinance as yf. And we are going to introduce something new. Import plotly graph objects as go. This we are going to need to put nice plots and display it later on into Streamlit. Let's start by giving a title to our dashboard. ETF performance dashboard. Then we are going to provide a list of ETFs. You can check it on your own. I have my own list of preferred ETFs, like 20 of them, and I'm going to write them down here as input data. You can check any other ETF if you prefer, if you have something personally prefer, and go for it. Triple Q, TI. One hint: whenever you are starting to type the ETF that starts with letter V, you can expect it to be some of the ETFs by Vanguard, one of the most respected investment big investors. BND, that's for bonds. EA, IBMG, WO, nicely into two lines, then go back and forth for all the length. IA, FB, QD, GG, IGH, XRK, XRF, and ARKK. We have the list of 20 ETFs, 10 per line, 2 lines. And now let's get method to which will grab us the ETF related data. Fetch ETF data. Input will be ETF. Stock equals to yfinance ticker ETF. History, stock, history, period equals to 1 year. With to keep the stock history for 1 year, and now we want to calculate our moving averages. MA50 is equal to history closure price rolling window equals to 50 in. The same will go for 200 moving averages 200. Paste 100 and 200. Now we're going to fetch some ETF specific metrics. Info equals to stock info, and metrics will be our dictionary for the following data: name, info, get, short name, or if not available, NA. We can basically copy and paste our code from the previous exercise where we were grabbing the data for the stocks. Let's paste it here, navigate back, we are going to have it rounded. We don't need it here, we don't need this. Instead of this one we have history, and we don't need those two neither. Okay, this completed, we are going to write what our method will return. It will return history and metrics. Once again, we are fetching the data for ETF when we are providing ETF name for this method, and it grabs the Yahoo Finance data using the ETF name as a ticker. It asks for the historical data for 1 year, it calculates moving average for 50 days by this line of code, by close price for the 50 rolling days, same for 200 days. Then we are opening a new variable info there where we are keeping the info section of the stock data from Yahoo Finance, and from there we're creating a dictionary where we are applying 4 fields from this info. Those are name, current date, current price, basically this one we are getting from history, 52-week maximum and 52-week minimum for the ETF. Now let's display the data for each of the ETFs. For ETF in ETF list, do the following. Try historical data, ETF metrics equals to fetch ETF data ETF, Streamlit subheader, we are providing the ETF, and ETF metrics name. Let's have here double parentheses, doubled to avoid any misunderstanding. Next is the subheader. We are about to write the data already. 52-week high, which will be ETF metrics, 52-week max, same will be for low, here take the minimum, and the current price F current price is equal to ETF metrics and field current price. Now we got all our data from the metrics and applied it here. We're writing down all of them as parameter and then showing the existing values for it. Move forward, calculate the ratios. We are going to calculate the ratio for the current price versus the yearly maximum and yearly minimum prices. Ratio to 52-week max is equal to round. We want to have nice looking numbers. ETF metrics current price divided by ETF metrics 52-week max multiply it by 100, round it to 2 digits, and let's copy this because we are going to use exactly the same for the minimum. And also write this data, right? Ratio current to 52-week max will be equal to ratio 52-week max. The same for the minimum. And let's add everything that we acquired to the plot. Everything, I mean the variable data, which will be moving averages and current price. So for that, we initialize a graph equals go figure empty, and now we are going to add traces or lines to this graph. Fig 1, add trace, go scatter x equals to historical data index, y equals to historical data closure price, mode equals to lines, and name equals to close price. Done with this, let's add two more for moving averages. MA50 here. This one and correcting it to MA100. And lastly, all of these three, we are going to provide a global title and axis, horizontal and vertical, naming for all these lines to be included on it. So figure 1, update layout, title will be, so we have additional unnecessary parentheses. ETF price trend. Let's add here. Understand that it's have string and moving average. Horizontal axis will have the title equal to date, and vertical axis will have the title price. So understanding this, we will have vertically shown the prices for all these three and horizontally the data, so we can see how it changes over the time. And with this everything ready, we want to include this chart that we created, plotly chart of figure 1 in Streamlit with this line of code. This is covered, and now we are going to check if any exception, exception as the Streamlit error possible fetch data for ETF and ETF. Okay, so let's add some description to include also the error that we faced. One more time what we did, we imported necessary libraries, we created a list of the ETFs that we are going to need to. We wrote a method to get the ETF data from Yahoo Finance, and based on it, it will get the data for 1 year. Based on it, it will calculate moving averages for 50 and 200 days, and also our method will fetch a set of data from the stock.info scope. From it, it will get the stock name, 52-week maximum and minimum, and all of this, the historical data for 1 year, and the metrics dictionary will be returned by this method. And next we are going for each ETF from this ETF list. We are trying to acquire the historical data and ETF specific metrics by calling this method for each of the ETFs and provide the ETF which is in the queue currently to the method and get the data for that. Once data is received, we are applying that data into our dashboard with this command streamlit write. Then we calculate ratio of current price versus 52-week maximum and minimum, and providing that data into dashboard 2, and then adding the current price and the moving average data into the plot, where when this is complete, all plot information is applied into Streamlit and is shown as a graph. Now let's run this code and see what we got. Streamlit run task 16. Let's see what we will have. No typo, my bad. Let's try to refresh it. Here we go. We can see that now the performance dashboard as a header is displayed, and SPY, which is the ETF name, 52-week high, 52-week low, current price, and the ratio to 52-week max. We can see that it's very close to the 1-year maximum, which means that this ETF price is raising. And we see that it's like more than 1.5 times above. It increased the minimum price for 1 year by 50%. So let's check. Minimum for 1 year, it was October 30, 2023. Price was 410, and during 1 year almost, we can see that price indeed became 50% higher. That's interesting, and that requires some analysis to understand why it went this way, because particularly that is quite challenging rise. Like the stock raised 50% over a year. It's good for investors, but need deeper analysis to see if it's justified growth or not. We can see here that we don't have anything to cross the 50-day MA and 200-day MA. Those are pretty straightforward growing together with the graph, and they don't have any point of connection, which means that there are no unexpected drops or growths for this stock, and it's staying stable. There are no buy or sell signals based on the cross of MA50 and MA200, but obviously the stock signal says that it's the trend line for it is growth. More or less the same are the data for other stocks too. You can see like the trend in general is more or less the same. The question is the price range. So this one is 280, basically 2 times less than SPY. Let's check overall if all the stocks ETFs have showing the same trend. This one is interesting. This one is related to total bond market. So this is the bond market, not the stock. Let's check what it consists of. BND ETF consists of. Those are treasury notes and bonds, corporate notes and bonds, and others. So not an actual stock. We can see here that the picture is a bit different. The growth in general continues, but the range of growth obviously is not 50%. But again, it is stable, so in 1 year it increased, continuously increasing. Next is another Vanguard and others we can see too, have more or less the same. This one is emerging market, so it's not a US based, but some emerging markets. Other Vanguard ETFs, more or less all of them are having the same line of graph. We can see here that some crossing up here, but only for 50 days. For 200 days it's quite stable. CHD, XLK, XLF, and we have something different, ARKK. We can see here that moving average for 200 days is above, so that's because of this growth part. And let's check what this consists of. ARKK ETF. ETF consists of Tesla, Roku, Coinbase, Roblox, Robinhood, Block, Palantir, Crisp, Shopify, Intel. So this one is interesting, and we can see here that the picture of behavioral picture of this particular ETF is quite different from what are the others. So that's where comes volatility, and that's where the players on a stock market can benefit a lot doing carefully analyzed and proven by data, fundamental and technical analysis data decisions. This will be all for today. I hope you liked it, and I hope this was useful for you. Stay in touch. We'll come up with the next interesting code and article shortly. Have a great weekend and see you next time. Bye bye.